This podcast delivers an immersive in-universe radio news experience set in the Helldivers 2 universe. Get the latest news, updates, and battlefield reports from the past week, brought to you by PV Productions on Helldivers Radio. Please note, this show is not affiliated with Arrowhead Studios or Sony. It's an original production featuring original characters crafted for Helldiver fans by Helldiver fans.
In the heart of the night, we're bringing the news, updates from the front, the war we choose. Tech's advancing, strategies unfold, stories of heroes both brave and bold. Here's your daily wartime update. Super Earth's fight is never late. Joe Turner's got your vital dose with Penny and Bulldog. We're keeping you close. Across the stars, the battles rage. We're watching the war, every step, every stage. Field reports from the front lines near. Morale is high, there's no need to fear. Here's your daily wartime update. Tech and tactics, now that's great. Stay tuned, the fight's in full stride. We've got the news from Super Earth's side.
Make sure to stay tuned. You'll be hearing from me, Grant, the producer of this show. We've got news about new content for Helldivers and other projects in PV Productions.
From distant planets to the home front calls, the Helldivers fight, standing tall. So get your gear, take your stance. This is the show where heroes dance. Here's your daily wartime update, reporting the front lines, don't be late. With Joe and the team, we're on the case, keeping you safe in this wartime race.
I apologize for this late broadcast. This episode was slightly more ambitious than I thought it would have been.
Tune in tonight for updates that shine, 8 p.m. CST, it's wartime time!
Citizens of Super Earth, defenders of democracy, and Helldivers across the stars, welcome back to GNR-107, the broadcast that cuts through the enemy lies and keeps you locked and loaded. The war has taken a turn, some victories, some losses, and some battles still raging as we speak. Sharball 7 stands strong, defended by Helldivers' blood and fire, but the automatons still hold Martel. The Illuminate have launched a fresh assault on Alamark 7. If you're not deployed, you better be gearing up. Super Earth needs you. Today, we break down the latest battles, the heroics of our brave soldiers, and the treachery of those who would seek to undermine democracy. Bulldog reports live from the front on Martel, where Helldivers are pushing back against the automaton occupation. Penny Lively has the latest on enemy advancements, weapon tech, and the unsettling truth about the gloom-infested Terminids. And in today's Table of 3, we put 3 of the hardest-hitting machine guns in our arsenal head-to-head to find out which one should be carried into the next fight. The automatons march in lockstep tyranny, the Illuminate whisper their deceptions, the Terminids swarm like the mindless pests they are. But Helldivers, we stand, we fight, and we will never stop until democracy reigns supreme across the galaxy. Let's get into it after this quick ad break.
Attention, Helldivers of Super Earth. Are you tired of running out of ammo just when the fight gets interesting? Do you find yourself screaming?
Reloading!
While your squad mates look on in sheer disappointment? Well, worry no more. Introducing the Super Earth Multi-Pack Resupply Crate, the all-in-one solution to all your democracy-dealing needs. Featuring everything you need to turn the tide of battle, includes fresh ammunition for all your favorite firearms, including the ones you irresponsibly wasted on warning shots. State-approved ration bars.
Now with 15% less sawdust.
A Super Earth-issued complimentary stim shot. Just approved, but hey, you'll feel great for about 6 seconds. And a highly motivational
keep shooting
pamphlet, personally endorsed by the Ministry of Encouragement. But wait, there's more. For a limited time only, every resupply crate comes with an exclusive, completely mandatory recruitment pamphlet for your next deployment.
Wait, hold on. What do you mean, limited time only? It's mandatory. You will take it.
So remember, Helldivers, when you need ammo stims and just a little bit of state-mandated encouragement, call in a Super Earth Multi-Pack Resupply Crate trademark. Order now by holding the right combination of buttons and praying the stratagem lands where you actually need it.
Who threw it on the roof?
This April.
Welcome to Haven's Reach.
Episode 3. War doesn't wait for the sun to rise, it moves in the dark. Silent. Relentless.
What we need is bait. Everyone, weapons hot! Down! Maybe heat signatures or sound pulses.
Specialist! Damn it. It's far more advanced than anything we've seen.
Out here, survival is a choice. One made every second, every breath.
We've got one chance at this. Stone, make it count.
Failsafe activated. 30 seconds. Whatever comes next, one thing's clear. There's no going back now. The question is, how far am I willing to go?
Their camouflage isn't just about blending in anymore. They've developed the ability to bend light around their bodies. They're fast, strong, and lethal. We need containment ready to go before it even gets close.
We had a plan, but plans don't win wars. Soldiers do. We thought we knew the enemy. We were wrong. This wasn't just another battle. It was the start of something far worse. Episode 3 of the Halloween Offensive begins this April.
It's done. Nothing's getting out of there now.
Helldivers, thanks for tuning in to GNR-107. Today's update brings both promising advancements and urgent concerns. Let's break it down. A containment breach has been detected across super-Earth networks. Initial reports confirm increased terminated incursions and unusual digital activity within defense systems. The Ministry of Defense has launched counter-operations under a mini-diver protocol to contain the threat before it escalates further. This is an evolving situation, and its full impact is not yet understood. Helldivers are advised to remain on high alert as further intelligence develops. Stay sharp, stay vigilant, and remember, Super Earth depends on you. Over the past 24 hours, SEAF and Helldiver forces exploited an unprecedented lapse in automaton resistance, liberating key territories. Intelligence confirms this disruption was caused by a routine update to their operating system, momentarily crippling their combat effectiveness. While this provided a brief advantage, the enemy has since fully restored functionality. However, High Command believes this exposure of their reliance on centralized data networks presents a critical vulnerability. If we can identify patterns in their software dependencies, future cyber warfare efforts could neutralize their effectiveness again. The automatons remain highly adaptive, but their strength may also be their greatest weakness. Research from Fenrir 3 confirms the gloom-infested terminids are evolving at an alarming rate. Data from 4E Prime shows 3 major developments. E710 yield surge. Gloom-infested bioforms produce 436 more E710, making them an unmatched energy resource. Predator strain adaptations. These terminids are using advanced ambush tactics, demonstrating intelligence beyond previous projections. Resistance to suppression. Traditional extermination methods are proving less effective, requiring new strategies to counter them. While gloom exposure offers significant resource potential, its uncontrolled spread could escalate beyond containment. Continued research is authorized, but caution remains paramount. Illuminate forces are no longer passively observing the Meridian Singularity. They are actively manipulating its course using dark energy siphoning. Projections now suggest that if left unchecked, they could redirect the anomaly towards super-Earth-controlled colonies. This is not a random event. This is deliberate. The Singularity is being turned into a weapon. High Command has initiated countermeasures, but until they are fully operational, all Illuminate incursions must be disrupted. Their dark energy siphons must be destroyed before they can establish irreversible control. If they succeed, the consequences will be catastrophic. Stay tuned for Joe's Wartime Breakdown up next.
Thanks, Penny. The last 7 days have tested our might, but we are not broken. Here's what has been happening across the galactic front. February 21st through the 22nd, 2185, the Illuminate Blitz. Elysian Meadows, Cubans Prime, Spherian, and Iro fell in rapid succession as the Illuminate launched a devastating offensive. RD-4 was completely overrun, cutting off key supply routes. February 23rd through the 24th, 2185. Super Earth strikes back. Bashir stood firm, repelling the enemy. A classified Gloom expedition confirmed Terminid mutations are worse than expected. High Command reported significant casualties in the defense of Hadar, but the planet held. The last 72 hours have tested our might, but we are not broken. Here's what's happening across the galactic front. February 25th through the 26th, 2185, impossible choices. A desperate battle. Helldivers, we've had to make tough calls before, but this one might be the one hardest yet. The automatons force us into an impossible choice. Protect the MD-8 gas mines on Dumatir, a critical resource for the war effort, or evacuate thousands of civilians trapped on Yulheim. It's not just about strategy, it's about survival. The decision now rests with you, and whatever choice is made, it will define this war moving forward. Meanwhile, the fall of Charon Prime has dealt a major blow to the Super Earth's hold in the Andromeda sector. The automatons took that world, and they took it hard. But if they think they've won, they've got another thing coming. Because while we lost Charon Prime, we held the line on Beckham 3 against all odds. Against wave after wave of machine onslaught, our Helldivers stood their ground and proved that we never surrender. Beckham 3 is still ours, and the automatons paid for it every inch, every dirt they tried to take. February 27th, 2185, the war expands. And now, the war front spreads even further. The Illuminate have pushed deeper into our controlled space, launching fresh offenses on Bunda Secundus. Charbel 7 was barely hung on, but thanks to the coordinated Helldivers' efforts, we successfully defended it from the enemy. That's a win we needed, but this war is far from over. As the fight rages, the civilian crisis is worsening. Entire planets are being displaced, and our refugees centers are reaching capacity. Supplies are stretched thin, and High Command is diverting additional resources to maintain stability, but it won't be enough if these invasions continue unchecked. And then, another gut punch. Osa-sun has fallen, another stronghold lost to the enemy. Another name added to the list of occupied planets. The war effort continues, but make no mistake, we are in the hardest fights of our time. And as we speak, new battles rage on. Martal, the automatons hold the planet, but not for long. Liberation efforts are underway, and Helldivers are dropping in as we speak. Almec 7, the Illuminate have launched a full-scale invasion. Helldivers are scrambling to defend the planet before it's overrun. Charbel 7 successfully defended. The enemy tried and they failed. We remain in control. So what does this mean? It means the fight is far from over. It means every deployment, every mission, every bullet fired counts. Martel needs you. Allmark 7 needs you. The war needs you. And if you think we're done fighting, you don't know Helldivers. Democracy doesn't bow. Democracy doesn't break, and neither do we.
Martal, Andromeda sector. Temperature's miserable. Visibility's about as clear as an SCAF budget report, and we've been in the thick of it since dawn. But guess what, Helldivers? We're still here standing. You might have heard the bots gloating after taking Charon Prime, acting like they're unstoppable. Sure, they caught us off guard, took a few of our own. But let me tell you what they're not shouting. They're scared. They know we're on Martal, and we're not giving up 1 inch of this frozen rock without making them pay a pound of metal for it. High Command says this fight can drag on. I say fine. Let it. We've reclaimed Martal before. We'll do it again. The Automaton OS update might have sharpened their aim, but it didn't fix their cowardice. They fight because they're programmed to. We fight because we choose to.
Scum, your resistance is negligible. Your war is lost.
Yeah, sure. Tell that to the wrecked tank we just turned into scrap. Keep talking, Tin Can. See if it helps when we're using your chassis for cover. And it's not just these robots we're dealing with. The Illuminate have been busy too, cramming their mind control nonsense down our throats on worlds like Awesome Sam. They talk about transcendence and freedom, but the only thing they free you from is your will. Every Helldiver who's faced them knows. Once you hear their whisper, it's already too late. Now, let's pivot to something High Command tried once. They gave us a choice to unlock new AT mines or save a bunch of sick kids stranded on Vernon Wells. Everyone, including the brass, thought we'd pick the bigger boom. But we didn't. Democracy said otherwise. We saved those kids. And in that moment, we showed we're not just about the next war toy. We're fighting for something bigger. So what's the lesson, Helldivers? The automatons think we're predictable. The Illuminate think they can break our spirit. But we prove day after day that we adapt. We endure. And we fight with reason and heart. When the chips are down, when the fight looks impossible, we rise up and change the game. That's why they'll never win. Martal's ours to reclaim, no matter how many times we have to do it. Let's remind the galaxy who runs this show.
High Command Dispatch, Urgent War Status Update. Attention, Helldivers. This is High Command with an immediate update on the galactic war effort. Effective immediately, all large-scale offensives and liberation campaigns are on temporary hold. Over the last cycle, we have observed an anomalous spike in planetary liberation rates that far exceed even the most optimistic projections. Initially, we attributed this to superior Helldiver strategy or a new tactical advantage. However, evidence now indicates an infiltration event within our logistics network. This breach has artificially inflated progress data, affecting not only our own operations, but also those of the Terminids and automaton forces. Supply lines are overburdened or severed, and accurate movement of reinforcements has become impossible. In simple terms, the usual balance of war has been thrown into chaos. We cannot permit the conflict to continue under compromised data. Effective immediately, no progress toward planetary liberation or overall war advancement can be logged until we've isolated and rectified the source of this infiltration. That does not mean you stand down from your posts. Helldivers are expected to continue local deployments, defend critical objectives, and maintain readiness. But you will not see further global war progression until the system is secure. We will not roll back any territory gained nor major orders completed. Your achievements stand as recorded. However, we must ensure the integrity of the overall war. Our analysts suspect a deeper, unknown force may be exploiting these network flaws, potentially affecting even our enemies' command structures. Henceforth, your orders are clear. Hold the ground you've won. Fortify your positions. Keep your weapons loaded and your eyes on the horizon. When the war resumes, and it will, we must be certain that every victory is genuine. Every strategic advantage legitimate. Further details will be broadcast as soon as the infiltration is contained. Remain vigilant, Helldivers. The fate of Super Earth may very well hinge on our ability to stabilize these logistical networks. High Command out.
This April.
Welcome to Haven's Reach.
Episode 3. War doesn't wait for the sun to rise, it moves in the dark. Silent. Relentless.
What we need is bait.
Everyone, weapons hot! Down!
Maybe heat signatures or sound pulses.
Specialist! Damn it. It's far more advanced than anything we've seen.
Out here, survival is a choice, one made every second, every breath.
We've got one chance at this. Stone, make it count.
Failsafe activated. 30 seconds. Whatever comes next, one thing's clear. There's no going back now. The question is, how far am I willing to go?
Their camouflage isn't just about blending in anymore. They've developed the ability to bend light around their bodies.
They're fast, strong, and lethal. We need containment ready to go before it even gets close.
We had a plan, but plans don't win wars. Soldiers do. We thought we knew the enemy. We were wrong. This wasn't just another battle. It was the start of something far worse. Episode 3 of the Halloween Offensive begins this April.
It's done. Nothing's getting out of there now.
Hey folks, Grant here, creator, producer, and the guy who spends way too much time making sure these broadcasts sound just right. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you, every single one of you, for tuning in, sharing the show, and helping keep this project alive. Now, I've got some updates for you. Starting in April, we're going to crank things up. More broadcasts, more news, and more in-depth reports, straight from the front lines. Helldivers Radio will remain free, but we're also rolling out exclusive content behind a paywall for those who want to support the show and get even deeper into the lore. That means extended segments, behind-the-scenes content, and bonus episodes that won't be available anywhere else. And if you're looking for something different, we've got a brand new project in the works. It's called Britannia, a full-scale historical audio drama exploring a civilization that rose from the ashes of Rome, forging its own path as an independent power. Think Rome discipline meets indigenous resilience and untamed frontier ambition. If history and alternate civilizations are your thing, you won't want to miss this one. Best of all, Helldivers Radio merch discounts are coming, because what better way to show your love for democracy than wearing it on your sleeve or drinking the Cough Freedom from GNR-107 mug. If you want to help these projects come to life, consider donating to the podcast, joining the Discord, or spreading the word. Every bit of support means we can keep bringing you the best in immersive storytelling. If you wondered how long it takes to make this show, I timed myself this round. At 8:30 a.m. this morning, I got started on the script for the show. Put out the script at 5:01 p.m. and then started on my own recordings, along with the others on the show. I started the edit, and as of now, writing this onto the script, it's about 8:09 p.m., and I'm just halfway through this edit. But now let's get back to the action. Welcome back to the Table of Three, where we break down the weapons keeping Helldivers alive on the battlefield. I'm your host, Joe Turner, and today we're talking firepower, specifically 3 of the hardest hitting machine guns in our arsenal. Joining me today are 2 top-tier weapons experts with very different takes on how to use them. First, we've got Callum Voss, a battle-hardened field weapons specialist who believes machine guns should be used for one thing and one thing only: absolute battlefield control. Callum, good to have you here.
Pleasure to be here, Joe. A machine gun's not just a weapon, it's a statement. You bring one of these bad boys to a fight. You don't participate in the battle, you define it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And on the other side of the table, we have Elias Rook, a tactical ordnance analyst and precision advocate. Now, Elias, I hear you've got some opinions on how these weapons should really be used.
I do, Joe. Machine guns have their place, but too many Helldivers think that bigger and louder means better. It doesn't. You can unload 1,000 rounds and still be ineffective if you don't know where to put them.
Alright, gentlemen, let's get into it. First up, the MG-43 machine gun. This is the classic workhorse, the first support weapon most Helldivers get their hands on. Medium armor penetration, high rate of fire, lots of recoil. Callum, break it down for us.
Simple. The MG-43 is a brute force solution to a very real problem. Not enough bullets going down range. 175 rounds per mag, 3 spares, and it will tear through anything in front of you if you know how to handle it. The trick: find your spot, plant yourself down, and fire in controlled bursts until the moment you need to go full send. And believe me, there will be a moment.
Alright, but let's talk recoil. What thing bucks harder than a stalker in close quarters? Elias, how do you keep it under control?
Discipline, Joe. This isn't a hold the trigger and pray kind of weapon, not if you plan on hitting anything past 10 meters. The MG-43 has 3 fire rate settings: 630, 760, and 900 rounds per minute. If you crank it to 900, sure, you'll clear a room, but you'll also be trying to aim while your gun's kicking like a charger with a plasma burn. I keep mine set to 760. Solid balance between control and damage, and you always crouch or go prone with this thing. If you're standing and firing full auto, you're not a Helldiver, you're a target.
Oh, here we go. The calculated shot speech. Look, Rook, sometimes there is no controlled burst option. You ever had to hold a breach against a wave of shriekers? You don't have time to check your fire rate. You just rip that trigger until there's nothing left standing.
And you ever seen someone dump their entire mag into a horde, only to realize the real threat just came around the corner? Fire discipline, boss. It's how you don't end up screaming for a resupply every 2 minutes.
I'm not saying spray and pray. I'm saying sometimes less is more. Gets you killed. Yeah, you conserve ammo, but at what cost? Watching your squad get overrun because you didn't want to commit to laying down fire? Nah. You use the fire rate toggle right, and this thing keeps you alive.
Alright. So Voss is saying fire when you need to. Rook says fire when it counts. Let's talk targets. Who's getting shredded when you pull the trigger?
Terminids, hands down. Warriors, shriekers, hive guards. Anything that isn't a charger or bile titan, this thing rips through them. Automatons. It's solid against troopers and berserkers. And if you focus your fire, you can put down a devastator. But hulks, gunships, forget it. You need something heavier.
Exactly. This is your crowd control gun. You're not bringing it to crack armor. You're bringing it to keep the swarm back. If you're getting flanked, if you need to suppress an area, this is your go-to. But the moment you're facing something that shrugs off bullets, you better have a buddy with a recoilless rifle.
Okay, I'll agree with you there. Against Terminid swarms, the MG-43 is one of the best tools we've got. And against automatons, yeah, it won't kill a Hulk, but enough sustained fire will stagger it, make it rethink its advance. It buys time.
And buying time is all it's doing in that scenario. If you're using this against heavy armor, you're just annoying the enemy. Better to switch to something that can actually finish the job.
Alright, final thoughts, MG-43, who's using it, and who shouldn't be touching it?
If you're holding a defensive position, running with a squad that needs suppression, or just like the feeling of melting an entire Terminid rush, this is for you. But if you're thinking this thing makes you an unstoppable force, you're in for a rude awakening.
If you're disciplined, if you understand how to manage your ammo and fire rate, the MG43 is a tool, not just a gun. But if you panic fire, if you don't respect its limitations, you'll just end up empty at the worst possible moment.
All right, you heard him. Helldivers lay down fire, but when you need to, hold back. Coming up next, we break down the M105 Stalwart, a machine gun that doesn't require you to plant yourself like a turret. Speaking of backup plans, let's talk about the M105 Stalwart. Now this one's different. Smaller caliber, lighter rounds, but a bigger magazine, 250 rounds per belt. Elias, you like this one, don't you?
Like is an understatement, Joe. The Stalwart's a workhorse. It doesn't have the raw stopping power of the MG43, but it makes up for it with pure staying power. You get sustained fire, quick reloads, and, best part, you can reload on the move. You don't have to dig in like a turret to make it work.
All right, I'll give you the mobility argument. Being able to reload without parking yourself is huge. But let's not pretend this thing replaces the MG43. You take this against a Terminid breach, sure, you're laying down a storm of bullets, but the moment a hive guard or charger shows up, you better have an exit plan.
And that's why you don't bring it alone. The Stalwart's a roll weapon. You pair it with something heavier, a Dominator, a counter sniper, maybe even an Eruptor if you're expecting armor. The Stalwart clears the field of small fry so your squad mates can focus on the big stuff. It's not about replacing anything, it's about balance.
So what I'm hearing is this isn't your do-everything gun, it's got a niche.
Oh, absolutely. It's tailor-made for bug hunts, warriors, shriekers, scouts. This thing eats them for breakfast. Automatons, though, not so much. You ever tried taking down a Devastator with this thing? It's like trying to cut through Titan armor with a kitchen knife.
Which is why you don't use it for that. You don't need penetration when you're clearing swarms. The problem with people who hate the Stalwart is they expect it to handle everything. It's not meant for heavy armor. It's meant to make sure you're not getting overwhelmed by everything else while your squad deals with the bigger threats.
So this is a specialist tool. Not for armor, but for keeping the battlefield clear of smaller targets. You both seem to agree on that?
That's fair. It's an ammo-efficient swarm killer. I'll give you that. And the mobility factor? It is nice not having to stop and reload when you're moving between objectives.
All right. Last up, the MG-206 heavy machine gun. This is the big one, 2.5mm rounds, heavy armor penetration, 100 round drum, and enough recoil to make a lesser soldier cry. Callum, I know you're itching to talk about this one.
Oh, you better believe it, Joe. This thing turns everything into scrap. Devastators, Hulks, even factory Striders if you hit the right spot. You don't use the MG-206 for crowd control. You don't use it to make yourself feel better by spraying at the sky. You use it for one thing, bringing down the biggest, meanest bastard on the battlefield. You plant your feet, breathe, and let loose.
Right, if you've got the luxury of time. Except you don't, Callum. You know what happens when you fire off 100 rounds of pure destruction? You're out of ammo, fast. And then you're standing there, exposed, for 5.5 seconds while you swap drums. You know what else takes 5.5 seconds? A charger covering 50 meters to turn you into paste.
If you're dumb enough to reload out in the open, yeah. Come on, Rook. I thought you were better than that. You reload smart. You reload when you've got cover, when there's a lull, when your squad has you covered.
And what happens when that lull doesn't come? When you're knee-deep in hostiles and suddenly that 100-round drum feels like 10? Hope somebody has an eruptor nearby?
That's called tactical awareness, my friend, and ammo discipline. You don't hold the trigger down like an idiot. You pick your shots. Every round from the MG-206 has to count. You tap fire, keep control, and make sure you're hitting something that deserves to get shredded.
All right. Let's settle something here. Callum, you say this thing is a specialist weapon. You take it when you know you need armor penetration. Elias, you're saying it's too unwieldy. unless you're absolutely sure you can resupply. So where does it actually belong?
You take this gun when you know you're facing Hulks, Chargers, and Devastators. If you're fighting anything smaller, you're just wasting ammo. And worse, you're wasting time. Time you should be spending maneuvering instead of trying to keep your footing from the recoil.
You take this gun when you need things dead. Period. You're in a heavy fight. This thing ends fights. You don't bring it if you plan on running around like some scout with a pea shooter. You bring it when you hold a position and turn anything with armor into scrap metal.
And if that position falls because you didn't have enough mobility, then what? Stand there and politely ask the automatons to let you reload?
Look, I get it, Rook. You love to move. That's cute. But when the enemy is bearing down on you, and you need something to stop a Devastator from turning your squad into a crater, you want this gun.
And when you run out of ammo, I get to be the one saving your ass.
If you can keep up.
Alright, okay, alright. Save the locker room brawl for later, gentlemen. Here's the bottom line. The MG-206 is a wrecking ball. It's devastating if you use it right. If you don't, you're just a slow-moving target with a very loud gun. You need a plan. You need support, and most of all, you need ammo discipline. Pick your shots, plan your reloads, and don't take this thing where it doesn't belong. Alright, I think we can all agree on that. Yeah?
Yeah, sure. If Rook can agree to actually fire his weapon instead of running drills mid-battle.
And if Voss can agree that the real key to survival is not getting shot in the first place.
Moving on, before I have to separate you two next up, we'll be breaking down the best backpack loadouts to pair with these weapons. Because let's face it, nobody fights alone. Stick around, we'll be right back. Alright, Helldivers, let's recap what we've covered today. First, Penny Lively broke down the latest developments from High Command, the automaton's temporary system failure, and growing threat of gloom-infested Terminids, and the Illuminates' latest attempt to turn the Meridian Singularity into a weapon. The war isn't just about firepower, it's about strategy, and every decision we make on the battlefield shapes the fate of Super-Earth. Then we took a deep dive into the past week's battles, victories, and losses, the impossible choices we had to make. The front line is shifting, and Helldivers like you are making sure it moves in our favor. And of course, we got a boost on the ground report from Bulldog, live from Martal. The battle isn't over, but one thing is clear, the automatons may march in unison, but we fight with a conviction, and that will break them. Finally, in the table of 3, we analyzed the best machine guns. This war isn't won by a single soldier or even a single battle. It's won by the choices we make daily, the decisions on the field, and the will to stand firm when the odds are against us. And you, Helldivers, have proven time and time again that you are the best of the best. Until next time, stay locked, stay loaded, and keep fighting for freedom. Super-Earth endures because of you. Because every Helldiver out there standing between civilization and chaos. We hold the line, we always will. This is Joe Turner, signing off. GNR-107, out. On malt. Fuck, what is that? Achievements. That's not right. Enemy.
Cramming their mind control nonsense down our throats on worlds like Opsusam. Oh, it's not Opsusam.
Penny Lively has the latest on enemy achievements. Gosh dang it, I did it again. Advancements, weapon, tech, and
See if it helps when we're Yeah. Keep talking, kid. Yeah, Kin Can. What the hell? High Command says, yeah, dang it.
Penny Lively has the latest on enemy advancements. No, that was right. God damn it.
And we're not giving up 1 inch of this frozen rock.
Oh, boy. The automatons march in lockstep tyranny. What?
And we're not giving up 1 inch of this frozen rock without making them pay a pound of more. Dang it.
Smaller caliber, lighter rounds, but a bigger machine. But a bigger blah 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 blah.
You might have heard the bots.
High Command reported significant casualties in the defense of Hadar. Jesus.
You might. Dang it.
The war is ours, we won't retreat. Through the ashes we ignite. For Super Earth we stand and fight. So send the orders, launch the fleet. The war is ours, we won't retreat. Through the ashes we ignite. For Super Earth we stand and fight. So send the orders, launch the fleet. The war is ours, we won't retreat. Through the void, through endless night. Ashes rise and burn so bright. So send the orders, launch the fleet. The war is ours, we won't retreat. Through the ashes we ignite. For Super Earth we stand and fight.
This show, Helldivers Radio, was a PV production. All music, sound not original to the podcast is licensed to the podcast. We ask that you contact us at helldiverradio@gmail.com before using any sounds or music for commercial usage for this reason. Thanks for listening.